As you know, it's important to me that the supplements I recommend and use are of the highest quality. That's why I stock the Protocol for Life Balance product line at my online dispensary, drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. Protocol for Life Balance offers a wide range of professional-grade products using ingredients backed by strong scientific research, including a suite of supplements specifically designed to support neurological health and cognition: Coggumin SLCP, Magtine, phosphatidylserine, and Brain Regain. Coggumin SLPC is curcumin optimized to penetrate the blood-brain barrier, where it helps protect brain tissue. Magtine may support healthy cognitive function, learning, and memory. Phosphatidylserine supports neuronal membrane fluidity, promoting cognitive function and mental acuity. And Brain Regain is a broadly useful herbal health aid that may be advantageous for supporting healthy cognitive performance. For more information and to order, just go to drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. That's drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. Protocol for Life Balance is an A-rated GMP manufacturer of premium dietary supplements.
Welcome to Leyla Muedin. I'm your host, Leyla Muedin. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist here in New York City. If you'd like to make an appointment, the number is 212-779-1744. That's 212-779-1744. If you'd like to email me with a question that you'd like to hear answered on this podcast, I could weigh in, I could take a deep dive. questions@drhoffman.net is the email. That's questions@drhoffman.net. Now, you know I spoke a lot in recent podcasts about, or I've written a lot about cholesterol, the lipid profile, different risk factors for cardiovascular disease. I've written a lot about it. I know a lot of you are conflicted because your doctors want you on a statin, even though your markers are okay, but when they see LDL higher than it should be, they freak out and they want you on a statin. I've written about that. If you don't already subscribe to the Intelligent Medicine newsletter, go to drhoffman.com. We don't use your email for anything else. You can unsubscribe at any time. The newsletters come out. Mine comes out typically on a Tuesday. Dr. Hoffman's comes out typically on a Thursday. And the newsletter, the Intelligent Medicine newsletter, has been reformatted so that it's easier to read on your mobile device. That's what everybody seems to be doing, including watching their favorite TV shows on their phone. I see them on the subway as I come home from work. They're watching their favorite TV shows. Hopefully they're not missing their stops. Anyway, so I've talked a lot about lipid profile. You know about the various risk factors as well, like lipoprotein a, homocysteine, getting the particle test done, the VAPS, the NMR test. Everybody's doctors are also looking at apolipoprotein B now. I've written about that in recent weeks as well. And I have links to those articles in the latest newsletter article as well about my LDL is high and my doctor wants me on a statin. Oh no, but I have a 0 calcium score. I have a low lipoprotein a, I have a low homocysteine, etc. Everything else is low. HDL is high, triglycerides are low. And I talk about all those things. Well, there is another hidden cardiovascular risk, and that is insufficient vitamin K and folate intake. This is from InnoVision. The hidden cardiovascular risks of insufficient vitamin K and folate intake. Now, for many, as we know, cardiovascular conditions can begin in their 20s and progress with age. And this is often linked to nutritional deficiencies, including vitamins such as K and vitamin B9, which is folate. Folate is vitamin B9, which have been shown to support heart health and function. Clinicians from the Cleveland Clinic Foundation have stated, quote, there is an alarmingly high prevalence of vitamin K deficiency and suboptimal recommended intake among the general population in the U.S., end quote. Emerging research suggests that higher intakes of vitamin K, particularly vitamin K2, may be needed to help protect arteries and bones. Vitamin K2 you will find in meat and in dairy and in natto. That's where you will find vitamin K. So there's a high prevalence they're finding of vitamin K deficiency and suboptimal recommended intake. Are they eating less meat, eating less dairy, not having natto? Typically, you find more of consumption of natto in Asian populations, right? In addition, approximately 54% of the world's population does not consume enough folate from food. According to a 2025 study, nearly 3 out of 4 women of reproductive age, approximately 73%, have folate levels below levels considered necessary to help combat neural tube defects. This means they are also not receiving the lesser-known cardioprotective benefits of folate. While many people have insufficient intake of these vitamins due to nutrient-depleted Western diets, which can leave them vulnerable to heart issues in the future, science continues to confirm the potential of simultaneously addressing both. Now, folate is in green leafy vegetables, all kinds of other vegetables, even the deep red, everything, those types of vegetables, right? You find folate there, but you also find folate in liver. A lot of it, along with vitamin A, iron, selenium, zinc. So this is where we find folate. So let's talk about the impact of nutritional deficiencies. Vitamin K2 and folate, which is vitamin B9, have been repeatedly identified as essential for healthy outcomes, not just for heart health, but for bone health and fertility, respectively. Yet, both remain elusive for most to obtain through diet alone. It is difficult for most consumers to overhaul their current diets as the convenience of preparation and increasingly of procuring food is the top priority, resulting in low levels of key nutrients. Now more than ever, supplementation to fill the gaps is easy and attractive, right? You will find some vitamin K, K2 specifically, and folate in a multivitamin, in a prenatal vitamin as well. The Council for Responsible Nutrition estimated that vitamin K2 use could reduce coronary artery disease events by 15.7% and save the U.S. healthcare system $9.48 billion. Now, vitamin K2 has been shown to protect heart health by helping the body manage calcium deposition, inhibiting it from setting into arteries and soft tissues. Meanwhile, folate supports vascular function via homocysteine metabolism and pregnancy outcomes, increasingly serve as an early warning signal for a woman's future cardiovascular risk. Remember also that statins mess with our vitamin K metabolism And this is part of the double-edged sword. That's why, of statin use. That's why it's important to have a very frank conversation with your doctor about the risks versus the benefits of statin use, because a statin does mess and downregulate proper vitamin K metabolism. And that may be a cause of the calcification in coronary arteries, right? So we're in a bit of a conundrum here, because we know that vitamin A has been shown to protect heart health by helping the body manage calcium deposition, inhibiting it from settling into arteries and soft tissues. Right? So if we look, the researchers say, if we look at the potential dangers associated with suboptimal vitamin K and folate intakes, these deficiencies may contribute to increased cardiovascular risk by increasing arterial calcification, vascular stiffness, impaired homocysteine metabolism, and endothelial dysfunction. So, while calcium is essential for bone health, its precipitation in blood vessels is harmful to the cardiovascular system. Vitamin K2 controls soft tissue calcification by activating the vitamin K-dependent protein MGP, which is matrix GLA protein, MGP, a key inhibitor of vascular calcification. Low vitamin K status is determined by inactive MGP and is therefore strongly associated with arterial stiffness, vascular and valvular calcification, and resulting heart failure and eventual cardiovascular mortality. You know what else helps with keeping vasculature very flexible and not stiff? Vitamin C. Taking vitamin C can reduce, or help to prevent, rather, daily use of vitamin C can help to prevent arterial stiffness. So that's another thing that I would add to that. Anyway, the good news, higher vitamin K2 intake has been linked to improved arterial health and reduced cardiovascular risk. In fact, each additional 10 micrograms of vitamin K2, as you get in a supplement MK7, right, is associated with a 9% lower risk of coronary heart disease and reduced cardiovascular mortality. So, taking vitamin K2 in a supplement as an MK7 has been supported by nearly 2 decades of research. And typically when you take vitamin D, you'll find some vitamin K2 there. That's how you should be taking your vitamin D. You should find also some vitamin K2 in your multi if you're currently taking a multi. Human intervention studies show that long-term MK7 supplementation, which is vitamin K2, improves vascular elasticity and, in subpopulations with elevated arterial stiffness, supports healthy blood pressure, particularly among postmenopausal women. So, the results of a new study, it's called the VitaK CAC trial, further support these vascular benefits, and preliminary results show that 2 years of vitamin K2 supplementation significantly slowed coronary artery calcification compared with placebo. And additional clinical studies are ongoing to evaluate different dosages and patient populations. Meanwhile, folate's cardiovascular relevance is largely driven by its role in homocysteine metabolism and endothelial dysfunction. You know that if you have a high homocysteine, a supplement to take to help lower the homocysteine includes folate, includes some vitamin B2, which is riboflavin, includes trimethylglycine, vitamin B6, and vitamin B12, and folate. So, large cohort studies and meta-analyses published between 2022 and 2025 consistently associate higher folate intake with lower cardiovascular and all-cause mortality, especially in metabolically vulnerable populations. Each increase in folate intake was associated with a 5% lower risk of total cardiovascular disease events and a 10% lower risk of cardiovascular disease mortality, highlighting its potential benefit for cardiovascular health. However, these positive results do not reflect folic acid, the more commonly consumed vitamin B9, which requires an important in-body, in vivo conversion to the active form, which is 5-MTHF folate. Further, approximately 40% of the population has an enzyme deficiency, rendering their bodies incapable of fully converting to 5-MTHF. Now, we know this, right? For those of you who have that particular polymorphism, that gene mutation that shows this enzyme deficiency, many of you benefit from taking the methylated form, the active form, which is folate rather than folic acid. We do have to be careful here because some people have trouble, even though they have this genetic polymorphism, this mutation, where they would require maybe more active form because their bodies are incapable, because they lack the enzyme to do that conversion to active folate. Many people, after taking the activated forms of these B vitamins, like with folate, they have trouble. They might have mood issues, irritability, maybe some anxiety. Things like that have been reported, and we're not sure if it's the activated form of folate, of the B12 that's also in there, the methylfolate, the methylcobalamin, we're not sure. But some people have reported an intolerance. Anyway, so the active form of folate, which is what is being recommended with research substantiating and quantifying its benefits in several health contexts for women's health, including overall folate metabolism, cardiovascular health, as well as fertility. So together, vitamin K2 and the active folate, as you may find in quadrafolic, sometimes quadrafolic is in your multi or with your vitamin D supplement, or you're taking it as a separate supplement. They address two complementary cardiovascular pathways. One is calcium regulation. K2 facilitates the activation of matrix GLA protein, MGP, helping to inhibit arterial calcium deposition while supporting bone mineralization. And two, methylation and endothelial support. Active folate supports healthy homocysteine metabolism and vascular health. Both ingredients are clinically validated, with numerous human studies demonstrating positive effects on heart health. As heart health conversations evolve beyond cholesterol alone, which, gosh, I hope they are doing, the combination of fat-soluble K2 and vitamin K is a fat-soluble vitamin along with vitamins A, vitamin D, vitamin E, the carotenoids. These are all fat-soluble. Vitamin K is included. The combination of fat-soluble, K2, and water-soluble folate offers a compelling, science-driven narrative focused on vascular aging, prevention, and long-term cardiovascular resilience. Quote, with a large portion of the population likely subclinically deficient in both K2 and folate, the opportunities for closing those gaps and providing heart health and other wellness attributes with, taking these supplements are extraordinary. And that's why many of you in the know who listen to this podcast, you're already taking many of these supplements. So it's helpful. So that's why, a nutrition consult, making sure your supplements are being reviewed, are in order, conversations with your doctor about taking a statin if you're being urged to do so. These are the conversations you need to have with your doctor, because they need to know about the statins downregulation of vitamin K in the body. That's a problem. And maybe you need additional vitamin K. So, vitamin K and folate, insufficient intakes of both of these are the hidden cardiovascular risks which are now emerging and being brought to light. I want to thank you for joining me on another edition of Leyla Muedin. This is Intelligent Medicine.
I want to thank you for listening to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app, and get new episodes automatically downloaded every weekday. And please give us a rating and review. It truly helps new people discover intelligent medicine. The Intelligent Medicine Podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice, and no doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of information on this podcast or materials linked from this podcast is at the user's own risk. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have, and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. Finally, please visit drhoffman.com and discover everything Intelligent Medicine has to offer, including frequently updated, unbiased health news and fully vetted product and supplement recommendations.
This is Leyla Muedin, registered dietitian nutritionist. I maintain a private practice and see patients regularly. If you require a nutrition consult with me but live out of town, there's no need to travel to New York City. I have telephone and telehealth consultations with clients from all over the country. Please visit drhoffman.com for more information. And to set up an appointment, call 212-779-1744. That's 212-779-1744. I look forward to being a collaborator in your healthcare.